A whistleblower exposes Twitter. We have Ron DeSantis putting out an epic campaign ad, and Newsom is still expecting Californians to foot the bill for illegal aliens healthcare. All that and more here on The Bald Brad Show. Welcome to The Bald Brad Show. It is Wednesday, August 24th, and as always, I couldn't be happier than to be doing The Bald Brad Show this fine morning, hanging out with all of you, my friends and true American patriots, where we come together as a community of conservatives and Republicans, go over the stories of the day, and bring you all the news and information you need to know about. So heck, if you want to join us here at The Bald Brad Show, and we hope that you do, like I said, we got an awesome community here, and we would love to have you. Hit that like and subscribe button. If you're over at Rumble, hit the plus and give us a comment down below. And if you're listening on any of the podcast airwaves, Apple, Google, Spotify, heck, folks, you find us anywhere and everywhere, leave us a lovely 5-star review. Not only would you be helping a conservative, but most importantly, you'd be supporting getting conservative thought and ideas out there to new viewers who haven't seen our content or our channel. So your help and support would be greatly appreciated. And it really does support it, folks. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. We are a growing community here. We just hit 12,000 subscribers. I mean, try to fathom that number, folks. We can almost fill up an entire hockey stadium or football stadium, depending on which one we're looking at. But we're growing here, folks. And like I said, join the bandwagon. If you want to support us without giving us money, heck, make sure you watch the video all the way through, hit that like button, and leaving us a comment down below greatly helps. It's doing yeoman's work. And our numbers are up, folks, because you're putting in the work on your end. You are loyal people. You are loyal to this nation, and I greatly appreciate it. With that being said, we are halfway through the week, folks. It is hump day. It is Wednesday. Let's jump right into the news with our lead story of the day regarding Twitter. You have this Twitter's former security chief accuses it of misleading public on security practices. So this is coming from the New York Times. And they're also saying that the whistleblower also said Twitter had lied to Elon Musk, who is trying to back out of his $44 billion deal. So this has massive ramifications, not just for Twitter and its future, but also for Elon Musk here. Twitter's former head of security accused the company of making false and misleading statements about its security practices and lying to Elon Musk about fake accounts on its platform, potentially landing the social media service in new regulatory trouble as it tries to force Mr. Musk to complete his $44 billion deal to buy it. Now, if you recall, Musk wanted all this information and kind of the knowledge of, look, are you actually saying and being trustworthy in the data that you're reporting as far as actual users, or are these just bots and basically fake accounts? And what he's saying is, look, what they provided me is a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of lies. I don't believe it. And they're saying, oh, well, no, we gave you all the data. Well, it seems like that's not the case here. Furthermore, there's a lot of accounts and a lot of people that still use Twitter, and they're having privacy and security issues now from this guy who's the head of security. So if you have a Twitter account, folks, I don't know. This is looking bad. I think a lot of people are going to exit the company if this is actually real here, including myself. I mean, I'm possibly going to delete my Twitter account based on what this article is talking about. So the head of security, who was terminated, I think in January, said in a whistleblower complaint that the firm had deceived the public by misrepresenting how it fights spam and hackers. That violated a 2011 agreement that Twitter had struck with the FTC, in other words, the Federal Trade Commission, which barred the company from misleading users about its security and privacy measures, he contended. In his complaint, which was filed with the SEC on July 6th, he accused Twitter's chief executive and other executives, as well as directors, of extensive legal violations and acting with negligence and even complicity against hackers. That is wild. When you throw those two words, or at least that sentence together of negligence and even complicity, meaning they're willing to work with them, you're in some crazy regulation territory. And quite frank, folks, it is really hard to kind of prove negligence. You kind of saw that with Hillary Clinton. They're trying to prove negligence, and they're trying to do the same thing with Donald Trump. It's really hard in the court of law to prove that. But damn, I mean, that is not good what this guy has filed here. He also said that Twitter had lied to Mr. Musk, who signed a blockbuster deal to buy the company in April, but has been trying to back out of the acquisition. The complaint could give Mr. Musk legal fodder, with the billionaire's lawyers saying that they already subpoenaed this individual. The whistleblower's complaint is another strange twist for Twitter as it tries to ensure its corporate survival, and it's not looking good. I mean, before Musk, even offered the 44 billion, I think that was some astronomical number that wasn't even really close to what Twitter's true valuation is. So this company's been going downhill for a while, so much so that they actually have to create bots to make it seem like they have a lot of active users, which they don't. The company, which is based in San Francisco, has been embroiled for months in a struggle with Mr. Musk, the world's richest man, as he has blown hot and cold over owning the social media service, raising questions about its future as an independent entity. At the same time, Twitter has been grappling with an economic slowdown and has cut costs. What I find interesting, just at the get-go, was Elon was willing to spend $44 billion to take over this company. And I understand there's a lot of things that were already kind of set and built for this company, and it's an easy quote-unquote acquisition. But I think if he would have just created his own social media platform, I think a lot of people would at least give it a shot, more of a shot than maybe even Parler or Donald Trump's Truth Social, because he would have probably attracted a lot more Democrats and independents than maybe Trump would have or Parler would have. So I definitely would have given it a shot. I would have checked it out. Let me know in the comments if you would have checked out if Elon Musk actually would have just created his own social media platform. It's kind of the same way if Musk created a cell phone service, which there's rumor that he is, like an actual cell phone similar to the iPhone or Samsung. I think he's going to pull a lot of that market share over to his direction. So it's just weird to me he's willing to spend $44 billion, which maybe you could have spent a fraction of that and just started up your own company. The whistleblower complaint could lead to fresh scrutiny for Twitter as regulators and lawmakers train their sights on the power and influence of technology companies. Check this out. In 2019, the FTC fined Facebook about $5 billion, yes, with a B, for violating its privacy settlement with the agency. The SEC has also focused on companies that insufficiently disclose their suspectability for security breaches. Both agencies, which declined to comment, are likely to ask for additional documents and speak with this person, expert said, the whistleblower. If they find his claims have merit, they could fine Twitter or require it to change the way it operates. Now, look, if you're going to fine potentially Facebook for $5 billion, and depending if it's of equal violation in terms of privacy, you would imagine at least Twitter is going to be somewhere in that realm. And $5 billion, folks, obviously is not just a drop in the bucket. I would imagine $5 billion for Twitter is quite a large sum. There's near certainty that this will provoke a careful review by the FTC, maybe other public agencies, of the operation and management of the company. And that is at a moment where they are buffeted by so many other unwelcome forces. You don't need other shock of this kind. This comes from the FTC chair, and he's stating that regarding Twitter and on Twitter. The complaint was reported earlier by the Washington Post, and you also have CNN adding their whole thing in the mix on reporting it, which is fine. A Twitter spokeswoman said that the whistleblower was fired in January for ineffective leadership and poor performance. She said he was spreading a false narrative about Twitter and our privacy and data scrutiny. Now, there's something to be said about that. I'm not disclaiming or saying that's even false. But what I just find interesting is there's some sort of hypocrisy here whether you're going to say this guy's spreading false narratives. I mean, Twitter was doing the same exact thing. I mean, you can go with the Hunter Biden laptop, the Russian hoax. I mean, they were literally basically banning and removing people for saying that a man is a man. I mean, that happened to Jordan Peterson, it happened to Charlie Kirk, it happened to the editor-in-chief of the Federalist. You had I think either the CEO or the chairman of the Babylon Bee was banned as well for saying a man is a man, like an actual biological man, and saying that person is a man, and they got removed from it. So I don't want to hear the stuff from Twitter saying, oh, pushing false narratives. Please, really? Whose side have they been on, folks? You all know. They're on the progressive left, and now they're being called out for their shenanigans, and now they're having an OSHIT moment because Mr. Musk now has more ammo to pull out of his deal, as well as they're about to get hit with the possibility of a massive fine or a massive penalty. Deborah Katz, a lawyer representing the whistleblower, disputed the idea that he was a disgruntled former employee and said that he had tried to do the right thing by raising his concerns about Twitter's security practices. Whistleblower Aid, an organization that is working with him on his complaint, said the facts in the disclosure spoke for themselves. Mr. Musk, who did not respond to a request for comment, indirectly referred to the whistleblower complaint on Tuesday. He tweeted a meme of Jiminy Cricket from the movie Pinocchio that said, "Give a little whistle." So it's kind of like one of those backhand things of like, hey, I know what's going on. I'm not really going to comment. It might not even really help your case if you do comment, regarding the whole situation, especially when you're in a legal dispute. So it's best that he kind of just throws something out there like this, a little soft-handed, like kind of wink, I know what's going on. So that's what's going on there at Twitter. Some rough stuff there because look, we have already issued a subpoena for this whistleblower, and they found his exit and that the other key employees, curious in light of what we have been finding, This is from Musk's lawyer, but it goes on to say this, that the whistleblower, a well-known hacker who goes by the nickname Mudge in the security community, joined Twitter in late 2020 after the company was hacked by teenagers who impersonated prominent figures on social media service to accumulate Bitcoin. The reason why I wanted to put this as an emphasis was because if this guy's coming from that world of hacking and he's exposing Twitter for negligence as well as complicit with these hackers, he probably knows a little something about a little something. Could this all be fake? Sure. But if he's already supplying documents of fraud regarding Twitter, if he's already supplying certain information to the SEC and the FTC, like this is not looking good, folks. This is looking really bad. He could be a disgruntled employee, but look, even if he was, doesn't mean what he said was false. You know, this could very well be true, but we're gonna have to wait for all the evidence. I don't know what to believe. You want to tend to believe somebody that's kind of pushing a certain agenda that's, you know, kind of leaning more towards your direction. We don't like Twitter at the moment because they're not really a free speech platform, even though they say they do. Countless times they've banned or suspended Republicans and conservatives. We see it almost on a weekly basis. Whereas Iran, the Ayatollah stuff could still be on Twitter. I mean, you have terrorist organizations on Twitter saying crazy things. The progressive left are on Twitter saying crazy things. So I'm not a big fan on Twitter, which is why, honestly, I don't really use that platform. I think there's a link down below to my Twitter account. I rarely post. It's not worth it to me to hop on there when I can get my voice out here on YouTube or Rumble, or like I said, on any of the podcast platforms. Twitter is just a bunch of shenanigans in the same way TikTok is on just removing and banning Republicans left and right. Why waste all my time with a platform like that that's pretending to be one thing and is servicing and doing something completely different, i.e. what we just went over? Now you got this whole security issue. So if you're on there, folks, I would be careful with what's going on, because if they are being negligent and they are being complicit with hackers, it's not looking good for your accounts. So speaking of different news here, you got Ron DeSantis back in the mix, folks. I mean, this guy is an American national treasure at this point. Ron DeSantis, the Florida governor, has issued and released a new campaign ad Monday evening, mirroring the new movie Top Gun Maverick. I freaking love this. I only watched like 10 seconds of it, and I immediately was like, I got to do this when I get off work. I got to talk about this to all the true American patriots that follow the Bald Brad Show, because you're all going to love it. One, if you haven't seen just the movie Top Gun, the original, and even furthermore, the follow-up, the sequel called Maverick, phenomenal, pro-American films, doesn't push this LGBTQ stuff in your face, which is another great reason why he's using it to kind of push his campaign ad. So the ad posted online by First Lady Casey DeSantis, lovely woman, by the way. I believe she's a cancer survivor too, which is amazing. Strong woman, just a strong woman, strong man, wombo combo couple, a true American couple, folks. I mean, the DeSantises are the family and should be the family in the White House. Features DeSantis taking on the corporate media and fighting back during exchanges that he has had with reporters while serving as the state's governor. We gotta hop in and just watch this, because it's too good to pass up. Let's go ahead and watch, folks. Top Gov.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your governor speaking.
Today's training evolution, dogfighting, taking on the corporate media.
The rules of engagement are as follows. Number 1, don't fire unless fired upon, but when they fire, you fire back with overwhelming force. Does it say that in the bill? I'm asking you to tell me what's in the bill. Number 2, never ever back down from a fight.
If I could complete the question, though.
So you're going to give a speech or ask a question?
Number 3, don't accept their narrative.
It's wrong. It's a fake narrative. I just disabused you of the narrative, and you don't care about the facts.
It's why people don't trust people like you, because you peddle false narratives. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's turn up.
There you go, folks. If you live in Florida, you got to text FIGHTER to 512345. The guy, like I said, is a national treasure, true American hero, and a badass, folks. I mean, the guy's doing yeoman's work over there in Florida. Easily the best governor in the entire United States. By far, there's nobody that compares to this guy. Okay, Greg Abbott's trying to do his work in Texas. Doug Ducey's trying to do his work in Arizona. Not even in the same realm as what Ron DeSantis is doing. This guy has completely changed Florida for the better. And you know what? After Joe Biden's done, we need him to change America for the better. After all the destruction the Democrat Party has done through whether that's the executive branch, the legislative, or the judicial, because they have all three right now, and they are running this country into the ground. You don't have to look any further than our southern border and what they're doing. It's crazy. You don't have to look any further than Los Angeles and what Newsom is doing. You don't have to look any further than New York City with what Eric Adams is doing. All blue ran, Chicago, Lori Lightfoot. I mean, you name the blue city, they're driving it into the ground, and you can't blame conservatives or Republicans for it because they've been running the show for quite some time. In fact, some of them decades. So they're going to sit there and still try, like Eric Adams. You have Bowser in Washington, D.C. trying to blame Republicans for everything. Not going to fly because you guys are running the show and you're running into the ground for that matter. So Ron DeSantis is gearing up with these campaign ads. There is rumors out there that he's going to have some contention and it's going to be close. I don't believe it one bit. There's no way. I mean, Florida would have to really just do a head-spinning maneuver for him not to get reelected. I'm hearing rumors from one of the fellows on the Bald Brad Show. He's a subscriber, and forgive me for not remembering your name, but you left a comment a while ago and you mentioned, hey, we're not expecting Ron DeSantis to run in 2024 because rumor is that he wants to finish his last round as governor after this campaign and probably getting reelected, and then after running the 2028 election. There's some fears here within the Republican Party, as well as us conservatives, is that if Trump runs in 2024 and if DeSantis does in fact want to run in 2024 as well, is that they're both going to sit there and go at each other. And we can't have that. We can't have a fractured party with them too, especially two dominant candidates that we really love and like. A lot of people obviously love Trump, but a lot of people really love DeSantis, and we need him in 2028. We can't have Donald Trump do his bullish work and go after Ron DeSantis because that's just going to come back later on. And you want to be able to work with Ron during your presidency as well. That's kind of an issue that we've had with Ted Cruz and others, where Trump in the 2016 election was going after Ted Cruz. He went after his wife. He went after other people. I get it. And I'm kind of all for that type of bullish tactic, but it does fracture the party and it does hurt in some way, shape, or form when you're going after your own people like that. You can't be going after my boy Ron DeSantis, Trump. I love you, buddy, but you can't be doing that with this great man. He's done a lot of good things. I can't really think of one bad thing off the top of my head that DeSantis has done. That's the problem, right? For Democrats, the guy's done so many good things. What are they going to hit him with? I mean, he's doing yeoman's work in Florida. There's people flocking left and right to Florida. Ain't nobody going to California. Newsom was like, oh, everybody's coming from Florida to California. How many of you in California, I'm here as well, I live in California, seen a Florida license plate? I guarantee you if I spent a freaking day in Florida, I'd probably see a California license plate. That's what Ron said. I'll believe him because I see picture after picture of people fleeing all over from Chicago to Florida, New York City to Florida, Washington, D.C. to Florida, Portland to Florida. I mean, city after city, Sacramento to Florida, Los Angeles to Florida. I mean, it's leftist cities all going to Florida because of the way he runs things. And it's not just Republican conservatives fleeing. It's literally Democrats fleeing their own areas because they're ran so poorly by other Democrats. I love what Ron is doing here. And also another thing about this ad, not to kind of, what is it? Dig create a, what is it? An ant out of a molehill or something like that. Not to make like a small ad, something way big. But what I love on how they did this was they took Top Gun. They took an American film that wasn't LGBTQ, wasn't all this stuff, pure Americana, and turned it into something great. And what I love about that is that kids of all ages, as well as adults, are reaching, or he's reaching, not just those from the 80s and the 70s that love Top Gun, but he's also reaching the newer generation that loves Top Gun Maverick. So it's actually a really smart PR move. And I believe Ron DeSantis was in the military. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But look, it's a great ran ad. He's done nothing but great stuff. And it shows how tough he is. It shows how tough he's been on the media and how tough he's been on the Democrat Party. Doing awesome things over there. Speaking of somebody who's not doing awesome things in my state is you have Newsom insuring illegal aliens who have aged out of the eligibility to see no disruption in their healthcare coverage. Wait till we go over these numbers and the billions of dollars that we're spending for somebody else's healthcare. It's wild. It's aggravating, you guys. It seriously is aggravating. California covers the healthcare costs of illegal aliens under the age of 25. And has done so since 2019. Last month, California became the first state to guarantee free healthcare to allow low-income adult illegal aliens, reportedly conferring coverage to an additional, listen to this number, 764,000 people, and costing the state $2.7 billion more. This pledge to criminal non-citizens was part of Gavin Newsom's $308 billion operating budget approved by California lawmakers. While our freaking vets sleep in the streets, where there's people doing fentanyl all over the place, you have illegal aliens running roughshod over the southern parts of this country. And they expect us, the taxpayers, to spend this type of money, billions of dollars, on somebody else's other healthcare costs. Just for the love of God, folks, come to California and just go to Los Angeles and see how disgusting it is. Prostitutes everywhere, homeless encampments on every block, feces all over the sidewalks, syringes on the sidewalks, in the neighborhoods. They literally metal detect playgrounds for syringes and razor blades on like a monthly basis in some areas because of what's taking place. So rather than taking the money, of which we have a surplus in this state, by the way, fixing our roads, figuring out the water situation, figuring out the freaking fires that we have all the time and doesn't want to figure that out, they're going to sit there and spend $2.7 billion on healthcare coverage for those that aren't even supposed to be here in the first place. I don't get it. I honest to God don't get it, and it drives me up a wall. I'm all for taking care of people. That is built into the cake. If you see me complaining about something as a Christian, I'm for helping people, buying people meals, right? Donating, like doing things. It's already built into the cake in all these conversations. Just know that for the frequent Bald Brad viewers, those that have been watching the show for a while, when you see me complaining and ranting, the basic stuff of like taking care of people and doing all these nice things, it's already built into the cake. But what happens is when you be a nice person and you have this stuff built into the cake, there's going to be those that take advantage of it. I'll give you a prime example, a basic one. There's a lot of homeless people that will panhandle off the exits of freeways in Southern California. You'd be shocked if you went to a freeway and you didn't find somebody. There's been reporters that have tracked these people going back to their brand new Mercedes, BMW, and going home. Come to find out, they're making 6 figures a year off panhandling off the side of the freeway. So do I want to help people? Yes. Have I stopped giving money to people on the side of the freeways? Yes. So it hurts some, but there's going to be those that take advantage of it. So if you know, as somebody in maybe South America or Mexico, wherever it may be, Haiti, doesn't matter, going, hey, they're going to sit there and cover my healthcare costs as a sanctuary city in Los Angeles. Why would I not flee there? We know that happened with the homeless problem. I mean, literally, homeless people are just open about it. Like, yeah, I came here because of the perks that they're giving us. I mean, they're paying some people $600. They're giving them cell phones. They're giving them food. They have beachfront property in Venice. That's why they're going there. And they're getting loaded up on drugs. Not everybody. I understand that. Not everybody. But some of them are, and a lot of them are. That's why we got the fentanyl crawl, where they're just passed out all day. They're drunk. Not everybody. Again, this is already built in the cake. Of course it wouldn't be everybody, folks. But when you have incentives like this, more people are going to take advantage of those incentives. Why would you not? And do this type of stuff where now we're paying me for somebody else's healthcare. Approximately 40,000 illegal aliens have or will age out of their present Medicaid coverage, meaning they could lose their benefits until 2024 when the new law concerning adult coverage goes into effect. They will, however, see no disruption in their benefits. Oh, it's ending that? No big deal. We'll foot the bill. Not a big deal. Californians, bring all the illegal aliens to us because we'll clearly foot the bill rather than take care of our own people first. Just lovely. The Newsom administration's Department of Healthcare Services announced on Monday that 40,000 persons will get to keep their taxpayer-funded coverage through the end of 2023, even though they are now or soon will be older than 25 and no longer eligible. Look, you guys want an easy solution that I've come up with all this? Rather than forcing taxpayers to pay for all this stuff and giving that power to the governor, why not create a separate fund that you can opt into on your tax return for the state to be able to pay for this type of stuff? And you might be going, well, Brad, how the hell are they going to do that? They do it all the time for the presidential campaign. If you look on your tax return, you can contribute $3 to the presidential campaign, and that money goes there. So why couldn't we have on our 504 in California, on our state return, going, hey, do you choose to opt in to pay for illegal aliens healthcare coverage? And we'll see how many Democrats want to donate to that. We'll see. Why can't they do that? Why are we all being forced to pay for something when we don't agree with it? Put it on there, and we'll see actually who wants to fund and pay for this thing. Because I have a feeling a lot of times when you start asking Democrats for money, all of a sudden they don't have any money. Oh, I don't have it. Oh, well, that guy might. Oh, that guy doesn't have it either. Oh, well, that guy might. All of a sudden they get all frantic. How many times have we seen interviews, whether it's from Turning Point USA or Campus Reform, going out there, maybe Fleckus Talks as well, asking people, hey, what do you think about giving an illegal alien $100 and housing? Oh yeah, I'll sign that petition. Sure, that sounds great. Would you be willing to give $100 to an illegal alien right now? Or the other one is reparations, right? Do you agree with reparations? Oh yeah, we think everybody should give reparations. Perfect. There's a black guy right here. He wants his reparations. I don't have any money. So that's what's going to happen with all this. It's just a way for the government to force our hand and take our money consistently and put it in somebody else's pocket rather than giving us our return that we deserve and making sure our roads are fixed first. How about that? How about fixing the traffic? How about widening the freeways so that we're not sitting in 3 hours traffic to go to LA? Yes, that's a legit thing, legitimate thing. I live 30 miles south of Los Angeles. It will take me hour and a half, 2 hours just to get to downtown Los Angeles, which should be a 25, 30-minute drive tops. But they can't figure out the freeway system. They can't figure out the water system. They can't figure out the forestry. They can't figure out the homeless problem. They can't figure out a damn thing in the state, but the one thing they can figure out is how to spend your damn money and put it in other areas rather than where it should go. Can you tell I'm a little pissed and frustrated about this? The Newsom administration's Department of Healthcare Services announced on Monday that 40,000 persons will get to keep their taxpayer-funded coverage through the end of 2023, even though they are now or soon will be older than 25 and no longer eligible. Jose Casales, policy and legislative advocate for the lobby group Healthcare Access California, said California is again leading the way in making our healthcare system work better for all communities, regardless of income, age, or immigration status. What the hell of a statement. I mean, California is leading the way in making our healthcare system work better for all communities. Really? You want to talk about those underprivileged communities that are struggling just getting their roads fixed or their parks upgraded or their classrooms fixed up, whatever it may be? Really? I mean, we just did a story the other day. I know it's a different state, but Ohio hasn't even gotten air conditioning in their classrooms. So you're going to say that this is beneficial for all communities? Ask the vets that. Go ask somebody that fought for us that's living on the streets right now that can't get any help. Ask them how that's benefiting the community of our veterans that sacrificed and made the ultimate sacrifice for this country rather than somebody skipping the line and coming to this country illegally and getting footed the bill by all of us taxpayers. Yeah, total equivalence, right? Total equivalence. Concerning the provision of health care to illegal aliens in general, you have this person claiming by removing immigration status as an eligibility barrier to Medi-Cal, California is building a more universal, efficient, and equitable healthcare system. Efficient? Have you been to the ER lately? Have you gone in there? By the way, this whole socialized idea that they're pushing, he said universal, right? Let's just call it for what it is. He's trying to talk about the socialized healthcare. I got injured in college, not college hockey, before college in Canada, specifically Calgary. I separated my shoulder. It was an over 24-hour wait in Calgary in the hospital. I literally was able to be flown back to Los Angeles, see a doctor, and flown back to Calgary before I would have ever seen a doctor in the emergency room in Calgary itself, which is socialized. Do we want that here? Because it's moving in some sort of a little bit of a socialized sector, and healthcare has kind of been a little bit of socialized in the state of California as well as the United States as well. It's not looking good, folks. Healthcare is a human right. And our health system is stronger when everyone is included. Not necessarily. You can't have all three. You can't have your cake and eat it too. So healthcare is a human right. That's news to me. Did not know. Don't see it anywhere. Where's that right in the Constitution? I don't see it. But somehow it's always been there. This is the problem, you guys, with what happened with Roe v. Wade as well as Connecticut v. Griswold or Griswold v. Connecticut. See how he's talking about healthcare, right? Healthcare is a human right. Is that what they did before Roe v. Wade, as I've talked about numerous times on the show, was because the Bill of Rights acts as a penumbra or casts emanations, shadows, is that sometimes throughout history, our Supreme Court justices have decided and looked within those shadows to develop and find new rights. Can you see that happening here? By all of a sudden, healthcare is a human right and a whole restructuring of our healthcare system. I'm not saying our healthcare system doesn't need some sort of restructuring and figuring out this is not the route. This is not the way to go. Your quality of your service is going to be downgraded by what these lefties want to push. As of summer of 2021, California's Medicaid program, known as Medi-Cal, covered about 14 million people. Illegal aliens under 25 for Medi-Cal, if their income is less than $18,754, a household of 3 is eligible if the shared income is $31,000 or under. As of September 2021, 96,193 young adult illegal aliens were covered under the program. According to a 2020 Kaiser Family Foundation estimate, there are over 22 million illegal aliens living in the United States. Yes, you heard that correctly. That's lowballing the number, by the way. Are you sitting down? Over 22.1 million illegal aliens living in the United States as of 2020. Joe Biden, since 2020, possibility of roughly 4 million other illegal aliens have entered in the interior of the country. So you're looking at over 26 million illegal aliens living in the United States. In the years since the estimate was made, 1.7 million illegal immigrants tried to enter the United States in 2021. 2 million have been encountered at the southern border so far of 2022. Encountered. The gotaways are over 1 million. And Joe Biden has let over 1 million just into the interior alone. You're talking, I'm being conservative with my numbers here. This 22.1 is conservative. Okay, you have the Kaiser Family Foundation doing this, all right? So you are looking at the potential of 30 million illegal aliens in this country at present time. But it's not costing us any money on a federal level. Don't worry about it, you guys. Government has it. They'll just print your money. They'll spend your money. Don't worry about it. Oh, inflation, what the hell is that? Recession? Oh, we're not going in that. We'll just redefine it. That's how these people work. Our government's so freaking corrupt. And then they want us to trust them. The Federation of American Immigration Reform's most recent fiscal cost. You guys ready for this? Illegal aliens impose a net fiscal burden of at least, bottom tier, $143.1 billion. Conservative number. It's more than that. It's way more than that. $143 billion. And you got Joe Biden shelling out all this money everywhere. The government's just spending. Forget all this stuff. If you want to see really what the government's actual purposes of what they're trying to do here is modern monetary theory. That's what they want to try to implement from these elites to do the Great Reset. That is what they're pushing here, folks. And I fully believe it at this point. You don't got to be stupid to look at the debt and go, what the hell is going on? Nobody in their individual lives should be living it as far as spending money that this government's doing, both on a state level as well as federal level. This is crazy. This is so freaking crazy. And I'm trying to keep it like sane here without screaming and yelling the mic and cussing, because there's people that we can actually help with this. And it's frustrating because people are cutting the line, and there's a lot of people that want to come to this country and have a good life too. And that's the thing. Democrats always go, well, they want to live a better life. What about everybody else in the world that's coming here legally that wants to live a better life? Why are you just talking about whoever's coming through the southern border? And I'm saying whoever, because it's not just Mexicans, it's Haitians, it's wherever. All sorts of people are coming across the border that want to have a better life. I fully get that. But why are we always going, well, they want to have a better life, so just let them in. So does everybody else that's on the waiting list. So why are we just focusing on them all the time? Why not the people that actually are paying the money, doing the process correctly, that want to actually assimilate into the values of this nation? Because I'll tell you what, somebody that's coming here illegally doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to assimilate and want to assimilate into our values. I'm less likely to believe that somebody who's coming here illegally is going to assimilate and adjust to our system and our lifestyle than somebody that's trying to do it legally. I would rather take the legal person and believe the legal person is going to assimilate more so than the illegal person. They could both be of equal weight in terms of wanting a better life, leaving some sort of impoverish, or if you want to do the whole Kamala Harris thing of the weather's a problem, the climate crisis, all these things, drought. There's a process and we have to follow that process. I'm not saying it's already built into the cake. It's already built. That the immigration whole thing needs to be reformed. I do believe that. I think it needs to be restructured. I think kind of some of the stuff we do is just kind of straight BS. But still, there's a process. We got to follow it. So I can go on regarding illegal immigration. I've always said it's my number one issue. It bugs the hell out of me, folks. It bugs me so much. Thank you so much for listening to me rant. It is the morning, folks. I hope I woke you up a bit and kind of pissed you off a little bit, because you got the midterms coming up. Somebody got to light a fire under your butt, and make sure you get out there in the voting booth, because look, if Democrats win, that's on us. If Democrats win, that's on us conservatives, Republicans, for not getting off our couch or out of our seats, regardless of our healthcare issues, and getting out there to the polls and making sure we have a red wave in 2022 here for the midterms. As always, folks, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for always supporting the show. We hit 12,000, folks. Moving on to 13. I'll see you tomorrow here on The Ball Brad Show.